keep striving for this religion that we preach. Keep pushing, for nothing's ever out of reach. Because the time we keep on driving, it's all that much we go. The time we keep on fighting, and these colors I wear will be sold through the skins of my soul.
Welcome to another edition of the Luton Town International Podcast with technical difficulties aplenty. Alex has spent the entire time in a dark room as a disembodied voice, which, let's face it, is probably an improvement. Gav, after criticising the technical thing, then struggled to find the record button. It's the big red one that says record. You sent the link, so that should be done on that one. Alex wants to start early, which is why we're now starting later. I'm waiting for my dinner. So with that aside, that lies around. How are you both?
I think Alex is froze again.
Yep.
So Alex can stay frozen. We can hear him.
Yeah. You can hear me. That's all you need. Go on.
Oh, this is awesome. I'm doing good.
Alex turned into white blob, of course. Right, so we've got a couple of games to speak about. So Alex is going to pop in whenever he's got a signal that's working. If anybody expects any professionalism here and you're watching, where have you been for the last 10 years? It's not what we do.
This is what happens when you're not all in the same room and you have to trust internets and Skypes and freaking StreamYards and shit like that to do podcasts.
It's normally you who has these issues.
That's why we're the OGs. That's why we're the original gangsters of this shit. We put up with this shit every 2 weeks now because we've got games on Tuesdays and Nick is superstitious.
And see when we don't have them, then
Not
it's
suspicious, superstitious.
Just a second there. Alex is completely frozen now as well, so I'm sure he'll pipe up when he can.
Yeah,
I just give up on this shit.
Just speak. We've got your frozen image. That's probably enough.
Right, fine. Fair enough.
Right, so obviously we've got a couple of games. Going back to the Burnley game, which Alex, I'm going to go to you first because you'll probably cut out at any given moment. A lot more possession than they used to against possessions-based side, but lack of cutting edge. But first half was actually quite promising.
Yeah, first half was really good. I thought we had them at the ropes, and we were basically pummeling them and getting chances left, right, and center. Both wingers were having a great, wing backs, I should call them, were having a great time, and Ross Barkley was fairly instrumental in the middle, and we looked like we could have scored both 2 or 3 goals.
Gav, I'd say it's probably sort of, we didn't create the clear-cut chances, but Ross Barkley seems to be able to find his wing-backs, especially sort of down the right, with amazing accuracy time and time again.
Yeah, I mean that's what Barkley's good at. I mean, you look at the Burnley game, you look at the Bolton game, and not to throw the two of them together, you look at the position that Barkley played in both of them, and you can clearly see what position he's better in, right? Bolton, we had no Nakamba or Sambi. He played a little bit deeper, and although he did well, like we need him further forward the pitch, further up the pitch. But I agree, the first half we played really, really well until we let the goal in, and then like that seemed to take the air out of our tires a little bit. But I mean, as Alex said, we could have been 2 or 3 up.
Yeah, I mean, I know Alex felt at that time that sort of, he said Burnley were all over us, which I didn't see. They had a 10-minute spell in the ascendancy, which after we'd had the first half hour or so in the ascendancy, didn't really sort of make too much difference.
We need to just take our chances. That's just the major issue at the moment. We are getting in the position that passing display that Barkley is giving us day in and day out. Every match is just amazing.
Yeah,
I'm glad he came in back in for that part, Nick, because that actually made sense.
It did. And it almost followed as well. Obviously, you consider the goal, and there's a lot of you're thinking, is it going to be one of those days or something? It's they've got the goal. They're somehow going to do the double over us. It's you don't really want a team below you doing the double over us. Obviously, you don't want 1-3 points above you either doing it. But then we found a way to get an equaliser. Now, did anybody think jump up and think that's a definite goal at the time?
No.
Oh, I just knew it was going to be called off for a free kick.
It just seems to be it was so slow motion. You're thinking, oh, Coulter went up, heads the ball into this empty net, and you're thinking something's happened there, something's going to go on. And then you've got the VAR reviews, and it's there's two schools of thoughts of this, aren't there? Obviously, it's been mentioned quite a lot. So number one, was it a foul? I mean, Elijah did kind of lean into the keeper or put him into him. That's normally enough for a free kick. Against Man United, Liverpool, that's a free kick all day long. But the referee showed some sense, which is unusual.
Yeah, I actually thought that the referee was really good because he kept most of those 50-50 tackles going throughout the game. He didn't referee against or throwing a free kick to break up the game, which was kind of why I thought it was a great, entertaining game.
Gav, bring you in here because Alex has just cut out again. It's so obviously we've got. I mean, Trafford there. Trafford's never getting that ball, is he?
No, I don't think so. I think to me, it's one of them ones where it's so late in the game, the goalkeeper's coming out, and I think the goalkeeper kind of thinks, I'm just going to come out and try for this, because if I come out and try for it and someone runs into me, I'm getting a free kick, you know? And
it was a coming together rather than one running to the other, wasn't it?
The two of them just collide, and it's like, at some point, the game has to change to allow the striker to be able to do that. Because the way I look at it is, if that was anywhere else in the pitch and it wasn't the goalkeeper, would it be a free kick?
No, that's what I thought at the time as well.
You know, and I've said for the longest time that I think goalkeepers are overprotected. You know, and these sort of challenges, and like the striker should be allowed to go for the ball. The striker should be allowed to try get his head on the end of it, which I think was what Eli was originally trying to do until Trafford was on top of him. He
wasn't trying to at the time. I think he had a look into it. You could see the path of it. But then I think when it comes up, he thought, oh, he's going to block him off to a certain extent. I'm fuming that's given against us. Look at it that way.
Yeah. It's one of them. It's one of them things where, as I said, if it's anywhere else in the pitch, I don't think it's a free kick. So why is it a free kick in the box? Or just because it's the goalkeeper?
Yeah.
The thing is, as you were saying, I think it was the Arsenal game we talked about, and I said I didn't celebrate one of the goals because I was convinced it was coming back. I think it was maybe our second goal against Arsenal. I was convinced it was coming back, like absolutely convinced it was coming back. And it's the same way with the Burnley goal. You know, you don't celebrate it because you're convinced it's coming back.
But I mean, the pundits were split. I mean, the goalkeeper ones was sort of. I mean, actually, no. Shay Given said that's a goal, which surprised me. As a goalkeeper, him saying
good old Shay, good old Shay, Irish legend.
I just put it there to just get it in there. So it was. But I think it's one of those ones. It's controversial, but I think the right decision was probably arrived at the end, and plus the fact I had to love the clubs completely trolling him.
The which one? Oh, the Luton Town. The Twitter. Yeah. I mean,
I did it again and again and again and again. I didn't realize how bad Trafford was at that point.
Honestly, I think the club's doing a better job now of that whole social media thing. I think they're getting to grips with it. I don't know. I'm sure they probably brought someone in, but they're definitely doing a better job of making use of social media, because it's such a big thing. You know, it's such a big thing in today's day and age that you need to be able to take advantage of it. And I think the club are doing a better job now than they were. And realistically, 3, 4, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, they didn't need it, you know? But now, as a Premier League team, it's kind of it's expected to a certain extent, I guess.
I suppose there is that. There's also the kind of, but that was quite blatant, funny trolling that actually goes viral. Now something else has gone viral, which I know you're dying to talk about.
I am.
But I mean, this wasn't even the club. This was the club just putting up an interview.
They knew what they were doing.
Last time I checked, there's 14 million views for Rob Edwards going. Rob Edwards is a bit bemused. I just gave a normal interview. What's going on? He's suddenly become this absolute sex symbol to some half the country, it seems. So thinking, right,
the club knew what they were doing. Yeah. Don't give me that. The club knew what they were doing. I mean, here's the thing. Like, we were talking before we started this. Rob Edwards is a very good-looking guy. Like, I have no problem in saying that. He's a handsome, handsome man. And I am
How many
glad.
times have you watched this video?
How many times did I watch it? How many times
Yeah.
has it been viewed? 14 million? Probably 500,000. But no,
And
seriously.
how much units did you go through?
That I'm not going to say. That's not appropriate even for our podcast. But I mean, like, he's a good-looking bloke. You know, it's about time that the female population get to enjoy him just as much as we do as our manager. You know, I just can't wait for the song to change from "We've Got Super Robbie Edwards" to "We've Got Sexy Robbie Edwards."
Oh,
I just can't wait to see his face.
I'm just waiting for the club shop to start stocking an inflatable Robbie Edwards. Has to happen before Valentine's Day.
I'll take two.
Yeah, I knew you would. Right, ladies and gentlemen, this was Gav who just said he's going to have a threesome to blow up Robbie Edwards.
Hey, you know, it's got to be done. The guy is good looking. Can you name me the last time Luton Town had such a good looking manager?
And Mick Carford, obviously.
Gary Brabham?
Gary Brabham. Okay, you smoking that.
That was sarcastic. But seriously, like, I can't remember the time where Luton had a good-looking manager. So
Alex.
now that we have one, let's take advantage of it. Let's get some more females into the game and get more females as Luton Town fans, and you know, let's go for it.
Can we cut this out?
No, this is definitely staying in.
So, okay, Alex, you're frozen. I can't see the look of absolute revulsion on your face, which I'm just thinking, what the fuck are we got into here?
I will say I haven't shown my wife yet. I did it on purpose not to show her that video. Although it's gone viral on fucking every social media, so I'm just waiting for her to pop up one day and be like, is this Luton Town's manager? Like, yeah. It's like, oh, I'll watch some games with you. I'm like, yeah, sure you will. I bet you will.
Are you not going to show the wife just in case she gets jealous that you've got a man crush?
No, I've got tons of man crushes. Don't worry about that. She knows about that.
Yeah, the Alex Lacey cutout probably still.
Oh man.
Yep.
This is getting quickly out of control.
You can't see it. You can't see it.
Should we actually move on to the Bolton game that none of us saw, but we saw the goals?
Hey, I saw about 30 minutes at the end of it. Probably the worst 30 minutes of the match, but
I saw about 10 minutes on a dodgy Chinese or something stream, but it's...
Yeah. I just lowered down the sound.
Well, I had the sound on originally, then I realised its basic sound was completely generated. It's like you're watching basically Football Manager, someone's piped the sound from that end, just the way the cheers were going up and down, but it was kind of completely unrelated to what you're watching.
Mm-hmm. But again, didn't bother me. I turned the sound down and just watched the game.
Right, now, Alex, you almost completely jinxed the whole game.
Yeah. Yes. I listened to the entire game. That was amazing.
You listened to the entire game and suggested we do a podcast beforehand, which you know what happens when we do that, and you even knew it was doing the jinx. So, of course, Bolton then scored first. I thought, this is all down to you.
He's gone again.
Yes,
he's like, I'm not taking this abuse.
No, Nick. I thought you were gonna paddle on down there from the UK to come and give me a beating or something.
I don't know. Paddle and Nick in the same sentence. You probably shouldn't do that, Alex.
I do have a paddleboard, but going from England to Australia on a paddleboard is probably a little bit.
I didn't mention board. I just said paddle.
Apparently, you can sail in a straight line.
Alex, this is horrible, by the way. You just keep cutting out. It's fantastic.
So I can't actually see if he's on or not, so I can hear him some of the time popping. But
yeah,
I know what's wrong now. I know what's wrong. So
is it you? Was it me? It's not me.
It's my wireless acting.
Oh, there you go. I've had them problems. I can't slag you about that. But yeah, Bolton. I was actually for a minute there hoping that Bolton would hold on just so I could see Nick take a nervous breakdown on Alex in the group chat.
No, I'd have just laid every single bit of blame at his door. So it's basically there are certain traditions on this one. We don't suggest recording on match days because it never ends well. I mean, I think the one time we did it was actually sort of, against Newport. We lost 5-2. And that's always that still haunts me slightly on that one.
You got to keep bringing that up, don't you?
That's right. I've not mentioned Daviani yet.
3 appearances. I thought it was 1. That's 3 more appearances than fucking Danny Spiller made for us.
Well, yeah, he's a different one, but nobody actually praised him or sort of said he's going to be a great signing.
Oh, no, they did. No. When we signed him, there was
nobody here said that.
Fair enough. You should have mentioned that. Because the way our website was building up was like the second coming of Christ.
It was Rihanna's birthday yesterday.
Yeah, it was. I sent him a card.
I'm sure you did. But yeah, obviously our goals. Now the equaliser, Hythe Chong, Alex, who's still there, some really, really nice little bit of footwork and really well placed.
Yeah. Amazing goal by Chong.
He left just long enough of a pause for me to think he's gone again.
He really did do all the work for that goal, and yeah, I love it when he scores. A lot of people have been criticizing him for finding him too lightweight, but yeah, he's starting to find his stride in the Premier League.
And he's quick. He's very, very quick as well. He's got some quick feet, but obviously got competition now. Now, Gav, obviously our winner. I'm going to speak to you onto it because obviously it was the Irishman Chiezo Ogbene.
Chio, what a goal! Fantastic goal. Right place at the right time. Considering he was playing right wing back, for him to pop up in the position that he did, just absolutely fantastic. Can't ask for anything else.
I could tell he was playing moving around. I couldn't see the game, so I thought he may move.
He was right wing back. I think that's where he started off in the game, and for him to, I'm sure, as the game wore on, his position probably changed as Edwards went for it more. But yeah, for him to pop up in that position and to finish it like so calmly the way he did, like he's already proved to be so important for us this season, but it's gonna be a case of that's gonna continue because he can play in so many positions for us. Like he's covered for Kabore at right wing back, he can play as a winger. He showed the other day, like play him through the center, and he's very calm in front of the goal. And it's just one of these things where he's what they, I don't know if they still use this term, but what they used to call back in the day, utility player. And
I'd never liked the term utility player. Utility player always used to mean to me you're too shit to hold down a regular position.
Yes, but I actually think he's good enough to play in any of those positions. Like I would have no problem with Kabore not getting back into the team and Ogbene being our right wing back.
Right,
and that's not anything against Kabore, but like if Man City turned around tomorrow and said, "Hey, we're recalling Kabore," like I'm okay with that. Like, yes, I'd probably want a little bit more coverage at that point. You just have Ogbene, but I'd be okay with Ogbene starting majority of the games at right wing back.
I know. I mean, Kabore seems to have actually gone to AFCON and learned how to get lots of penalties.
That could benefit us. Yeah, I noticed that. That could definitely benefit us if he brings that back to his game at Luton. But I mean, to Ogbene, like free transfer. I know the free transfer that is constantly going to pop up is going to be Ross Barkley. But Ross Barkley, Chio Ogbene, and Andros Townsend for nothing. Nothing. Like, that's fantastic work.
Well, actually, just speaking about the transfer thing, because obviously the club accounts came out in the meantime, and I think we lost 21 million last season, which sounds horrendous on the face of it if you look at financial fair play. But then you look behind the figures, which I think everyone has, but it's actually really, really good. I mean, Kieran Maguire said it's an exceptionally well run. And also that 21 million, it includes a lot of the summer signings, it includes the promotion bonuses. It doesn't include the Premier League money.
Yeah. I mean, again, it comes back to what we always say, right? Our club is very well run, and it's run the right way, and it's run by fans. So we're never going to do anything that's going to put the club at risk or in danger. We're not that type of club. And yes, it means that we're going to be battling relegation, and we're never going to be the Cities and the Uniteds and the Liverpools of the world. But at the same point, we're going to be within our budget, and we're going to do We're going to do things the Luton way.
Alex, just chip in whenever you are, because I can't tell if you're there or not.
we did beat Newcastle United, so come on.
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle, have come. Go completely off topic here, but I don't know why you would buy a Premier League side with all that money, because you're not going to be able, unless it's a big club, you're not going to be able to invest that into the club. You're going to have to build slowly the way Newcastle are right now.
Newcastle are a very big club, to be fair.
They are, but they're not as big as the Uniteds of the world. If you bought a United of the world, you'd be able to go out and spend probably $1 billion in the transfer market, because you could nearly guarantee that revenue coming through the door for a club that size is gonna cover the majority of it. City can do the same things because they had their owners back in the day. They were able to spend millions upon millions. Newcastle can't necessarily do that because of financial fair play, which not necessarily a bad thing, but at the same point, like anyone that's buying a football club, why would you at this point?
But then, obviously, I mean, with the profit and sustainability rules, Everton charged, Forest charged. Now, obviously, I would hate to see another club deducted points unless it benefits us, in which case, come on, bring it on. The more, the better.
Does it feel to you like they're trying to give us back our 30 points?
No, because I think there's somewhere around saying we won't hear about any points deductions till April. Now, I'm pretty sure if it's going to be till April, they're going to be having a look and say, right, how many points can we deduct from these teams to make it look like being harsh, but without relegating them?
Yeah. But, I mean, April, the season's not over. Depending on when abouts in April. Like, I've seen a couple of people say it won't be till the off-season, which makes sense. If
it's not to the off-season, there's no point doing that, because it's you've got to have it there so people know where they are going to the last game of the season, I think. Yeah,
you've got to know going into the last day of the season, like what exactly you need.
Okay, and we've actually lost Alex completely now, and I think he's just said his wireless had died completely. So I think we can...
Here was me thinking this is going to be a short episode. I'm going to be able to get through post-production really quickly on this and enjoy the rest of my night.
Yeah. Right, so I mean, what we'll do is, because we're just going to move on quickly to transfer window. Obviously, we've signed Holmes from Reading, loaned him straight back. So it's obviously one of the things. They obviously see something in him, but not for this season. So we'll see how that works out. Nelson, another bloke from Reading, been accepted, but it looks like he might be off to Greece instead. If he doesn't want to come, got no issues with that. Now, the surprising one that's gathering, not that surprising, the one that's gathering pace is obviously Giles to Hull or possibly Leeds for about $4.5 million. Now, there's a mention of obviously there'd be some weird owes we would owe some money back to Wolves for him, but I think it was rumoured $5 million. So I'm wondering if we didn't quite pay that $5 million. I think that $5 million include all the add-ons, everything else. The way Gary Sweet structured the deal, he'd probably structured in reverse as well. Now, I'm slightly surprised it's kind of looks to be more of a sort of permanent transfer or a loan with an obligation to buy. But I think we bought him there. We bought him to actually try and bring in a bit of extra quality at left back. But then Alfie Doughty is stepped up so much. We're looking at him as an England player now. Yeah,
and I think that's been the downside for Giles, is that Doughty's just been so good. I know the talk is that a loan deal with the option of buying, or whatever the way they word it these days, in the summer. I wouldn't be surprised.
Obligation to buy, not an option.
Obligation to buy. Okay, yeah. So obligation to buy. That would surprise me slightly. Just because, unless the club has something lined up. Because if you're letting Giles go, if you're letting him leave on a loan and then ultimately permanently, what's your contingency plan for if anything does happen to Alfie? Like, you probably say stick Bell out there, right? But then what's your contingency plan in the centre?
Right, that's what I was about to go. Now, been rumoured to be linked with a centre-back. I mean, obviously, got one signing back, tried to bid for another one, and now been linked with Carl Bartley from West Brom as a centre-back. So that is then a centre-back coming in that obviously gives you the option of putting Giles out to left if you need be. But also, assuming Tom Lockyer is not going to be named in the matchday squad, which sentimentally I'd love him to be, but obviously we've got to be quite ruthless in the 25 we name. So you're then creating extra space into that one. So whether or not another defender comes in, or a right back, or possibly a central midfielder if Nakamba's out for a few months. So I think you've got a couple of options. I either look at replacing him as that one, or left field one. It might be recalling Alan Campbell, who's not playing there, but he can play that defensive midfield role.
I wouldn't feel comfortable with Campbell in the defensive midfielder role. That's just me. But what I was getting to with Jaws is I don't see it happening without reinforcements already being underway and almost set to come in to help us. I know that the rumor is Kyle Bartley. I'm not a fan. The times I've seen him play, especially against us, he hasn't looked great. Doesn't look anything special. Not necessarily a bad thing. He maybe just, as Rob Edwards put it about Holmes, proper defender, an old school defender, someone who just likes to sit there and head the ball away. It's not necessarily a bad thing for us right now because the players we have there all like to get on the ball and play. He'd be something different. But it just makes me think then, Mads Anderson, where's Mads at? Where's Dan Potts at? Because these are players who ultimately, not necessarily saying we're going to need them, but they're going to have to be around the squad, for us to have in case we do get injuries come later on in the season.
Yeah, that's it. There's got to be some chance of playing, or to be able to play at some point. So
yeah,
and obviously to be named in the squad. So I think it's looking at it as basically almost moving up players and maybe protecting the assets to a certain extent, so the value, and then seeing who can bring in, because we've actually got maybe Giles was signed with an eye to if we get relegated to the Championship, he'd be a useful player there. Now he's having a look and thinking, right, well, what do we need to actually stay up now? And if we have to move people around. And Giles, yeah, you can understand he's not going to be happy. He's not played much, but
I think Giles came in thinking he was going to be the first choice left back or left wing back or whatever.
He wasn't. He didn't defend for the first 4 games.
Well, yeah, he was. Yeah, technically, yeah, you're right. But I mean, I think that was a mistake as well. Doughty should have been starting from the start. Given how he performed last season, Doughty should have been in from the start. He's earned his place back and he's kept it. And there's a reason why we're all saying he should be going with England to the Euros. He's that good. I just think with Giles, okay, stay and fight for your place. But if the club are selling him this soon after buying him, it's because he's gone and said, "Look, I want to go." Which to me just means, just means that he doesn't want to fight for his place. And if he doesn't want to fight for his place, then fuck off somewhere else. Then,
yeah,
go somewhere where you don't have to fight for your place. Because I don't think anyone in the Luton Town team is guaranteed a place. Maybe Barkley right now because but again, it's because of his form. But I don't think anyone's guaranteed a place. You looked at Carlton start the season, Eli and Jacob Brown didn't start the season. I think it was
Jacob
right?
Brown didn't start the season, so
yeah. So and he's come in and done well. I just, if you're not willing to stick around and fight for your place, then this is not the right club for you. We need everyone 110% committed to the cause. We don't need anyone.
I mean, I don't want to slate him too much because I don't know the history behind that. So
you don't want to slate him, but I will. I don't mind. No, but again, if you join a job and 6 months later you're leaving, it's because 1, the job isn't what you thought it was going to be, and 2, you're not willing to fight or change or do whatever you need to do to make this job a success. It's the same with Giles, Instead of sitting there going, "Oh well, Doughty's got the position now, and I can't get back in," and okay, what about further up the pitch? Can you not fight Brown for that position? Brown didn't start the season.
I mean, I think the problem further up the pitch is we've got a lot of competition for those wide areas as well. So it's, Rob Edwards already said he sees Giles more as a kind of, a wide midfielder rather than a defender. So let's see, shuffle things around a bit.
It goes back to what I said. I honestly believe that if we hadn't come up last season, if we were still in the Championship, I think we'd be playing a completely different formation. And I'm not talking about completely different formation to what we're playing right now, but a completely different formation to what we played even in the Championship.
Yeah,
I think Edwards is doing what he needs to do to stay in the Premier League, which is, fair play. That's his job. That's absolutely what he has to do. But I think he's a much more forward-thinking manager, and I think he likes to be on the front foot. And he just realizes right now he can't do that with Luton.
Well, I think he's starting to do that. He's basically he's looking to evolve, looking to change the way we play, and thinking, okay, so started there, we lost the first 4, evolved the formation a bit, had to be an out possession side. He's now wanting to be slightly more in possession when we can be, and it's just getting the confidence. I think Ross Barkley is a big part of that. Now, one final question just before we go, because it's this has been half an hour of absolute clusterfuck podcast. You're going to keep that in as well, aren't you? It's right. Even though, okay, so I know you're Irish, so you don't have too much interest in the Euros as it is, but
thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, but just not mention that there. But if you were the England manager, this is going to be a loaded question. Would you take Henderson, sort of, long-term England international who's then just been playing in Saudi Arabia, or would you take a risk on Ross Barkley?
I take Henderson.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're Irish. You want us to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was waiting for you to get that. Obviously, as an Irishman, if I was in charge of England, I'd be trying to sabotage them at every possible game. Like, I would seriously just bring Harry Kane just to sit him on the bench. Like, that would be the sort of shit I'd do. But no, realistically, like, if I was in charge of England and I wanted to win the Euros, I would 110% bring Ross Barkley with me. And I would 110% bring Alfie Doughty with me. If you want to win, the tournament, I think, and I'm not saying they're going to win the tournament just because those 2 players are in the team, but to me, if I look at England, you've got Rice, you've got Phillips, who can both sit and play that defensive midfielder role. And if you are playing against a top team where you need to play 2, then you've got the 2. But then going forward, I think if you put Barkley in there, you take a lot off Bellingham, which I know he's a fantastic player, but he's still young, and he's still got stuff to learn. I think if you take Barkley with you, it just gives you something extra. And that's not to say you start Barkley, but someone to bring on and change the game. I mean,
I would say you bring them basically as an alternative to Declan Rice or Phillips, who's not playing, or Henderson.
Yeah, like if you're playing a team that you're expected to beat, you should absolutely not be playing 2 central defensive midfielders. Under no circumstances should you be playing. At that point, you're playing 1 sitting, 4 in front, maybe. That's where Barkley comes in, Foden one side, Rashford the other, or whatever way you want to work it, Bellingham and Barkley in the center. Now, once you get to the knockout stages where you have to play 2 defensive midfielders, that's where Phillips and Rice come in.
Or Barkley is playing one of them, because I think Sir Phillips is not playing for his club.
Or if you're really smart about it, playing Barkley as that second holding midfielder, but not actually as a holding midfielder. I don't know, like, so it's a very much American term, okay? But when Beckham came here to play in the MLS, it was pretty much a new position in MLS. So Beckham was the quarterback. Beckham was the guy playing, but he, as far as I remember, and I might be wrong, he never played in that position on his own. There was always someone else beside him who would do the dirty work and the leg work and the defensive work. Like, you could realistically do that. Have Rice there to do the leg work, and Barkley there just to ping balls.
And that'd be your perfect midfield combination, wasn't it? So you'd have the Irishman Rice and you'd have the Luton player Barkley.
Fuck off. We don't talk about Declan Rice nicely on this podcast.
It was just there on a plate.
I mean, if you want to win, I don't want you to win, so I'm hoping he stays at home. I'm also hoping that Alfie Doughty stays at home.
Okay, well, on that note, obviously we've got Everton in the Cup, so yeah, we've beaten them once already. We might be in the game, we might not. We'll see what happens, so I'm not bothering with any predictions. And I think we're going to end up there because let's face it, any more technical difficulties, it's going to be about 2 minutes long if you bother editing it. Don't edit it.
It's going to be a really, really short one. But yeah, and then Brighton next Tuesday, so obviously we won't be here next Tuesday.
No.
But yeah, the cup game is pretty much re-hit, and then the concentration has to be on the Brighton game.
Yeah, and a good run coming up. So with that, okay, we will see you all next time we record. Whenever that will be, probably in a couple of weeks.
Hopefully without the technical difficulties.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath.